Very good morning to all of you, my friends. Welcome back after Diwali break. Wish you a very happy Diwali, belated happy Diwali, and a prosperous new year. So, I hope you guys have revised what I have discussed in the previous few sessions. So, now we'll be starting with the next chapter, a new chapter of the part of that is methods of costing. In this, we'll be starting today with service costing. I have downloaded the PPT, so I request you guys to please download. I have uploaded the PPT, so I request you guys to please download the PPT. I'll be taking few questions from my PowerPoint presentation. So now, without wasting time, let's start. Very good morning, Swati. Good morning, Mr. Om Krishnan. Congratulations, Sujay. So let's start with service costing. Now, what is service costing? It's a method of costing used by those companies who are into service sector. I repeat again, this method of costing is used by those companies who are into service sector, those who are engaged in providing some sort of services. So to calculate the cost per unit of service, they use service costing. So used by the companies who are engaged in providing services. So it can be transportation industry, it can be hotel industry, it can be hospitals, it can be education institutions, it can be IT companies, it can be gyms, whatever it is. So those companies who are engaged in, or those business organizations who are engaged in providing services are using this method of costing to calculate the cost per unit. So the major part of this chapter, in the major part of this chapter, we'll be discussing the questions on transportation industry, because examiner do ask question frequently on transportation industry. So one second, guys. So when when talking about uh, transportation industry, let me discuss this with the help of an example. Now, let's say I'm into transportation business, and I'm running a bus service from Mumbai to, let's say, Ahmedabad. I'm running a bus service from Mumbai to Ahmedabad, and let's say the cost of a trip is 50,000 rupees. So when talking about transportation industry, let's say I'm running a bus from Mumbai to Ahmedabad and the cost per trip is 50,000 rupees. Now let's say the seating capacity is 50 passengers. And the distance travel is, let's say, 500 kilometers from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. Now, I have the cost that is 50,000. I have the distance travel that is 500 kilometers, and I have number of passengers that is 50. Now let's say my question is asking, let's say the company want to calculate the cost per passenger. So herein it can easily calculate the cost per passenger. That is 50,000 rupees is the cost of a trip divided by 50 passengers. So it will be 1,000 per passenger. Let's say the company want to calculate the cost per kilometer. So again, it will be very simple. That is cost per kilometer. So it will be rupees 100 per kilometer. So let's say if the company want to quote the fare per passenger, it will be rupees how much? 1,000 per passenger. Now let's say if the company is running the bus service and we want to quote the fare per passenger, it will be 1,000 per passenger. So company की बस का टिकट कितना होगा? 1,000 rupees per passenger. If the company is running a direct bus service from Mumbai to Ahmedabad, how they will quote the fare? It will be 1,000 per passenger to recover the cost, let's say. Now let's say instead of taking passenger, let's say someone approaches the company that I want to take full bus on hire. Let's say the a customer approaches the company that I want to take full bus on hire. So how much they will be charging for Ahmedabad? Again, it will be 100 per kilometer. Because number of passengers से company को कुछ भी लेना देना नहीं. If a person is approaching the company that I want to take that full bus on hire from Mumbai to Ahmedabad, the cost will be 100 rupees per kilometer. Or if they are going ahead also, it will be 500 rupees per kilometer. Now let's take a situation. So this is a very basic thing, but now let's take a situation wherein the bus is taking stop at Surat and Vadodara. Let's say the bus is taking halt at Surat and Vadodara. Now herein, the company want to quote the fare per passenger. Now the company want to quote the fare per passenger. So herein, apart from the cost, the distance travel will also matter. ऐसा नहीं है कि company will charge 1,000 for the persons who are traveling from Mumbai to Surat or Mumbai to Vadodara. They will be charging 1,000 for the passengers who are traveling from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. But what about the fare of Surat and Vadodara? So herein, the cost is important, but the distance traveled is also important. So let's say Mumbai to Vadodara is 250 kilometers. Surat to Vadodara is 150 kilometers. And Vadodara to Ahmedabad is 100 kilometers. So here we have the distance also. So in this case, now company has to figure out the fare from Mumbai to Surat, Mumbai to Vadodara, Mumbai to Ahmedabad. So herein, apart from the cost, the distance travel will also come into picture. See herein, in this situation, the distance doesn't matter because simply the bus is traveling from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. So the cost per trip is 50,000. 50 passengers are traveling, so they can easily calculate the cost, fare per passenger. But herein in this case, herein some are getting down at Surat, some are getting down at Vadodara, some are going directly to Ahmedabad. So the distance travel will also come into the picture. So herein what we will do is, we will calculate the cost per passenger per kilometer. That is, we have to take into consideration the passengers traveled as well as the distance traveled. So herein, we'll calculate the passenger kilometer. See, 500 kilometers is the total distance. And the numbers of passengers traveling are, let's say, 50. So passenger kilometer will be 25,000. So now my total cost is 50,000 divided by my passenger kilometers are 25,000. So cost per passenger kilometer will be how much? Rupees 2. It means per passenger, per kilometer traveled, we have to charge rupees 2. So let's say if a person is traveling to Surat, the distance traveled is how much? 250 kilometers. And we have to charge rupees 2 per passenger per kilometer traveled. So 250 into 2. So the fare for Surat will be 500. Suppose if a person is traveling from Mumbai to Vadodara, so the distance is 250 plus 150, that is 400. So 400, the distance traveled, and the cost per passenger kilometer is how much? Rupees 2. So this will be 800. And from Mumbai to Ahmedabad, the distance traveled is 500 into 2. So it will be 1000. So wherein there are two things what I have discussed. The only one thing, that is if we have to calculate the cost per kilometer or cost per passenger. And herein, in this case, we have calculated the cost per passenger kilometer. Now, so in short, what I want to say is that in service industry, there are two things that are important. The first one is if it is a single unit or it is a composite unit. So if only one element is considered, let's say herein in this case, we are considering only passengers. So it is single unit. Herein we are considering only kilometers. So it is single unit. But herein we are considering two elements, that is passengers as well as kilometers. So it is composite unit. So herein, when talking about the calculation of per unit, it can be single unit also, it can be composite unit also. This method is practically used in most of the cases who are into transportation industry. But yes, if a particular person is taking full bus on hire, then we'll use this approach. But yes, this method is widely used. If you guys have any doubts in this part, you guys can please post your queries. So in short, this method is widely used. When talking about single unit, it can be cost per kilometer, it can be cost per passenger, it can be cost per ton, it can be cost per mile. But when talking about composite unit, there are two factors we have to consider, that is cost per passenger kilometer, per ton mile, like this. So when talking about the two things, that is single unit and composite unit, for transportation industry, it can be cost per passenger kilometer, cost per ton kilometer, cost per, sorry, cost per passenger, cost per ton, cost per mile. So in single unit, it will be cost per passenger, it can be cost per ton, it can be cost per mile. But when talking about composite unit, it will be cost per ton kilometer, cost per passenger kilometer, etc. When talking about hotel industry, it can be cost per room, cost per day, cost per guest, etc. But when talking about composite unit, it can be cost per room day, cost per guest. For hospitals, it can be cost per patient or cost per bed. And for composite, it will be cost per patient bed. So this is how things work. So at the end of the day, after calculating the cost, we have to calculate the cost per unit. So when talking about the unit, it can be single unit, it can be composite unit. So these are the various points. There are many more industries. So I'm just writing it for your reference purpose for transportation, hotels, and hospitals. If you guys have any doubts or queries, you guys can please post your queries. Yes, Srinivasan, I'll be discussing this part with the help of few questions. Don't worry. Those who want to copy this explanation can please copy. Now, further in transportation industry, in composite unit, further in transportation industry in composite unit, it can also be calculated by using two ways. That is absolute and commercial. Specifically in transportation industry in composite unit that is passenger kilometer or ton mile, they can be calculated using two approaches. The first one is absolute, second one is commercial. When talking about absolute, it uses the weighted average approach. And when talking about commercial, it uses the simple average approach. So I repeat again, when talking about transportation industry also, when talking about transportation industry, the composite unit can be calculated using two approaches. The first one is weighted average, second one is the simple average, that is absolute or commercial. Let me discuss this point with the help of an example. So I request you guys to please download the material what I have provided. See, I have explained Swati in detail about how to calculate single unit and composite unit. Further, I mean, what's the practical utility and what will be the impact? I'll be discussing few questions so you'll get the idea in a better way. I request you guys to please download the material what I have provided. Further, do open your study material also. 1 second. So I'm discussing example number 1 from my material. So I request you guys to please open the material what I have provided. The similar question is there in the study material also. So let's start with illustration number 1. So a lorry starts with 20 metric tons of goods from station A. It unloads 8 metric ton at station B and balance goods at station C. On return trip, it reaches station A with a load of 16 metric tons loaded at station C. The distance between A to B, B to C, and C to A are 80, 120, and 160 kilometers respectively. So compute the absolute metric ton kilometers and commercial metric ton kilometers. So herein, there is a truck which is starting from station A and it is going to station B and then to C. And from C, it is coming back directly to A. So this is the position of traveling, wherein it starts with a load of 20 metric tons of goods from station A and it unloads 8 metric ton at station B. So the truck has started with 20 metric tons at station A. And so in short, from A to B, how many metric tons they have transported? 20 metric tons. So from A, they have loaded 20 metric tons and they have reached station B. Now at station B, they are saying that it unloads 8 metric ton at station B and balance at station C. So 8 tons were unloaded at B. It means only 12 metric tons traveled from B to C. From C to A in the return journey, they carried only 16 metric tons. So whenever these types of question comes in exams or while solving these questions, try to prepare this diagram. You will get the answer in a very easy way. Always remember, try to prepare this diagram about how the bus is traveling and how the things are going. So from A to B, 20 metric tons. From B to C, it is 12 metric tons. From C to A, it is only 16 metric tons. Further, when talking about the distance traveled, A to B, it is 80 kilometers. B to C, it is 120. And from return, it is only 160 kilometers when they are coming directly to A. So now we have got the distance traveled and the metric tons traveled. So we can easily calculate the ton kilometer that is from A to B, 80 kilometers, 20 metric tons traveled. From B to C, 120 kilometers, only 12 metric tons traveled. And from C to A, total 160 kilometers, 16 metric tons traveled. So 5,600 tons. So here we are using the weighted average approach, that is distance traveled into kilometer, distance traveled into kilometer, distance traveled into metric tons, distance traveled into metric tons, distance traveled into metric tons. So this is the weighted average approach. When talking about the simple average approach, very simple guys, the total distance traveled is 80 plus 120 plus 160, that is 360 kilometers multiplied by average weight, that is 20 plus 12 plus 16 divided by 3. So this will be 5760. So as I said that when talking about composite unit in transportation industry, two approaches are possible. The first one is weighted average, second one is simple average. When talking about weighted average, you have to calculate it individually. But when talking about simple average, simply the distance traveled multiplied by average weight. If you guys have any doubts or queries, you guys can please post your queries. Now, from examination point of view, very important, guys, you have to follow this approach only. This approach is to be followed only when instructed in question. I repeat again, this approach is to be followed. This approach is to be used only when it is clearly mentioned in the question. So, if the question is silent, only this method is preferable. I request you guys to please copy the explanation. Now, when talking about how to prepare service cost sheet, the format is very simple. Cost sheet की तरह इतना कुछ calculate करने की जरूरत नहीं है. When talking about the service cost sheet, the format is very simple. The format is very simple. You have to bifurcate the cost in three parts. That is fixed cost, or we can say standing cost. Fixed cost, or we can say standing cost. Write down all the fixed cost and standing cost. Then write all the variable or running cost. And last is maintenance cost. So let's say it is A, it is B, it is C. So we'll calculate the total cost. That is A plus B plus C divided by units It can be either single or composite. We'll get the cost per. So very simple, bifurcate all the cost in three parts, that is fixed cost or standing cost, variable cost or running cost, maintenance cost. Write it down A, B, and C. The total cost will be A plus B plus C divided by units. It can be either single unit or composite unit. We'll get the cost per unit. So let's start with few more questions on transportation industry. Those who have not downloaded, I request you guys to please download the material what I have provided. I'm discussing example number 2 from my material. Any doubts, Miss Vidya? So let's start with example number 2. Calculate the total passenger kilometers from the following information. So herein the question is asking us to calculate the passenger kilometer. So total number of buses are 6. The number of days operating in a month is 25. Trip made by each bus per day is 8. Distance traveled is 20 kilometers one side. Capacity of the bus is 40 passengers, and the occupancy is 80% of the capacity utilization. So we are required to calculate the passenger kilometers. Sorry. Let's first calculate the distance traveled, then we will calculate the passenger kilometer. So let's first calculate the kilometers traveled. So when talking about the calculation of kilometers, it is going 20 kilometers one way and 20 kilometers in the return journey. It's going onwards 20 kilometers, in return also 20 kilometers. So per trip they are traveling 40 kilometers. Now, see, trips made by each bus per day is 8. So 8 trips in a day and 25 days in a month. So this is the details of per bus, 40 kilometers traveled in a trip, 8 trips in a day, and 25 days in a month. And since there are total number of buses are 6, so multiplied by 6, we'll get the distance traveled. So it is 40. It will be 48,000 kilometers. When talking about the calculation of passenger kilometer, again the same approach, wherein the bus is traveling 20 kilometers with how many passengers? See, the bus seating capacity is 40 passengers and the occupancy is 80%. It means 32 passengers are traveling on an average. In return journey also 20 kilometers they are going and they are coming with 32 passengers. Multiplied by 8 trips in a day, 25 days in a month into 6 buses. So 15,36,000 passenger kilometer. So if you guys have any doubts, you guys can please post your queries. Anyone having any doubts or queries? Okay, so a question from my side for you guys. I request you guys to post your answers. Those who are watching over YouTube or via app, they can post the answers on the query section. I mean query page. So waiting for your query. Waiting for your answers. Let me write the question first. So a 10-tonner lorry is traveling from site X to site Y, transporting coal. In onwards journey, the truck carries full load and returns empty. In onward journey, the truck carries full load and it returns empty. Distance between site X to site Y is 20 kilometers. And the number of trips made in a day is 3 trips, and in a month the company works for 20 days. You are required to calculate the kilometers and ton kilometers. Waiting for your answers, guys. Read the question. Rest I don't know, Shoaib. Let's see. I've got answer from Om Krishna Gupta, Swati, Kiran, Shoaib, Ashish, Srinivasan, Sunil Ganga. Waiting for your answers. Vidya, waiting for your answer. Anyone else with your answers, guys? Waiting, giving you 2 minutes time. What about the ton kilometers, Sujay? Vidya, your answer is incorrect. Yes, Shoaib, waiting for your answer. Mr. John, waiting for your answer. So again, the concept is very simple. When talking about kilometers from site X to Y, it is 20 kilometers. In return journey also, it is 20 kilometers. Now, 3 trips in a day and 20 days in a month. So it will be 2,400 kilometers. When talking about ton kilometers, again the same approach. 20 kilometers they are traveling with full load. That is 10 tons. The lorry capacity of lorry is 10 tons. And while in the return journey for 20 kilometers, they are traveling with 0 tons. That is nothing. Multiplied by 3 into 20. So this will be 220 into 10, that is 200. And this will be 20 into 0, that is 0. So 200 into 3 into 20. So Sujay Manna, your answer was incorrect. Kiran Bala, your answer was incorrect. Swati, very good, correct answer. And Hariom, again incorrect answer. Still, you guys are not thorough with the concepts, I think. This is the revisionary session, not the main session, guys. Still, I'm covering everything in detail, but still, I'm surprised that you guys are not prepared. Sujay Manna, how come you got 28,80,000? I don't know. And Kiran Bala, you also 13,200. Don't go for shortcuts, Sujay. Very simple. Just prepare. Whenever you see, for the students, I mean, who are watching over YouTube, and for everyone, always remember, guys, whenever you find a question wherein you have to calculate passenger kilometer, ton kilometer, try to prepare this chart. See, very simple, 20 kilometers with 10 tons. And in return, 20 kilometers with 0 tons. So this will be 0 into 3 trips in a day into 20 days in a month. Generally, many students, what they do, see, we have calculated the kilometers. So 2400 kilometers and 10 tons traveled. So it will be 2,40,000. Sorry. So what generally students do, 24,000 kilometers into 10 tons, so 24,000, we can get it directly. So this approach is incorrect, guys. Always remember, agar onwards or return में अगर कुछ भी change हुआ, be it tons traveled or be it number of, the occupancy is going down, then your answers will be incorrect. So do make a note of it. But try to prepare this chart, you will get all the answers correctly. Anyways, I request you guys to please copy the question and the solution. What I can see is that still many students are not thorough with the concepts. So let's discuss one more question. I'm giving one more question. So bus is traveling between two towns and the distance traveled for round trip is 50 kilometers. The seating capacity is 50 passengers. The occupancy in the onward journey is 80% and in the return journey it is 90%. The number of trips in a day is 3 and the bus work for 24 days in a month. You are required to calculate the kilometer and the passenger kilometer. So waiting for your answers, guys. I request everyone to post your answers. Mallu, Sunil, Om Krishnan Gupta, John, Vidya, Sujay, Srinivasan, Shoaib, Kiran Bala, Ashish Shukla, Swati. So I've got answer from Shoaib. Let's see. I've got answer from Om Krishnan Gupta also. Let's see. Got answer from Swati. I've got 3 answers for one question from the 3 students. So difference in opinion among all 3 of you. 3 answers for 3 students. 3 different answers from 3 students. Okay, so 4th answer also again from Vidya over the portal. Again a new answer. Rest all waiting for your answers, guys. Mr. Srinivasan. Now let's see. See, the round trip is of 50 kilometers. It means what? Round trip is that is from A to B and B to A, it is 50 kilometers. So one way trip will be how much? 25 kilometers. And return trip will be how much? 25 kilometers. Into how many days in a month? Sorry, how many trips in a day? 3 trips into 24 days in a month. So this will be 3600. So Swati, correct answer. Shoaib, correct answer. Om Krishnan, you have not posted the answer only. And Vidya, your answer was incorrect. When talking about passenger kilometers, for 25 kilometers, they are traveling with onward journey 80%. So 50 into 80%. So this will be 40 passengers. And in 25 kilometers with 45 passengers, that is return journey, the occupancy is 90%. Into 3 days straight and a day into 20. So it will be 1 lakh. So Swati, your answer was correct. Rest all incorrect answer. Very good, Sujay. Very good, Vidyashri. Ashish Shukla, 6375 passenger kilometer. So it is incorrect, Ashish Shukla. So this is the correct answer. I still feel that there are many students who are not thorough with the concepts. Kiran Bala, okay, good. Do post your answer fast because examiner is not going to give you that much of time, my dear. I request you guys to please copy the question and the solution. So Om Krishnan and Shoaib, how come you got 3,42,000 and 3,06,000? I'm surprised. Ashish Shukla, again your answer was 6375 passenger kilometer. Anyways, so now, Sunil, you were late, I think. I've already solved this question. Try to post your answer as fast as possible. Again, examiner, I have given you sufficient time. But anyways, good. Your answers are correct. Very good, Sunil. So now let's start with a full-fledged question. I'm discussing example number 3 from my material. Further, the same question is, I think, there in the study material also. In the study material also, it is illustration number 3. So I'm discussing illustration number 3 from study material. So let's start with the full-fledged question, illustration number 3 from study material. So ABC Transport Company has given a route of 40 kilometers long to run a bus. The bus cost the company a sum of rupees 10 lakh. The cost of bus is given. It has been insured at the rate of 3% per annum, and the annual tax will amount to rupees 20,000. The garage rent is 20,000 per month, and annual repairs are 2,04,000. The bus is likely to last for 2.5 years, so we can easily calculate the depreciation. The driver's salary will be 30,000 per month, and the conductor salary will be 25,000 per month, in addition to 10% of the takings as commission. So when talking about takings, they're talking about the total revenue. So we have to pay a commission of 10% on the total revenue to the driver and conductor, and they will share it equally. Cost of the stationery is 1,000 per month, and the manager come accountant salary is also 17,000 per month. Petrol and oil will be 500 per 100 kilometers. So for every 100 kilometers, the petrol cost is 500. The bus will make 3 up and down trips, carrying on an average 40 passengers on each trip. The bus will run on an average 25 days in a month. Assume 15% profit on takings. Calculate the bus fare to be charged per passenger kilometer. So for every passenger kilometer, we have to calculate the fare. So let's start with service cost sheet. Now, as I discussed that the cost will be divided in three parts, that is fixed cost or standing cost, variable cost or running cost, and third one is maintenance cost. So let's start with this illustration. So fixed or standing cost. So the bus cost the company rupees 10 lakh and it has been insured at the rate 3% per annum. So this will be a fixed cost. Insurance cost is 3% per annum. The annual tax amounts to rupees 20,000. When talking about garage rent, it is 20,000 per month. Repairs 2,04,000 will go under repairs and maintenance, or we can say the third category, that is maintenance charges. Now the bus is likely to last for 2.5 years, so depreciation. So this will be rupees 4 lakh. Now driver and conductor salary, the salary part will be taking in fixed and the commission part will take as variable. So driver salary is 30,000 per month. And conductor salary is 25,000 per month. So this will be 3 lakh. Commission we will consider under variable cost. Now the cost of stationery is 1,000 per month. Manager cum accountant salary is 17,000 per month. So it is total A. We are done with all the fixed cost, I think. Yes. Now next is variable or running cost. See, it is given that the petrol and oil will be rupees 500 per 100 kilometers. So we have to calculate the distance traveled. Again, it is given that he has been given a route of 40 kilometers long to run a bus. So, one second. So, the total distance is 40 kilometers into 3 round trips into 25 days in a month. Better prepare the chart only. 40 kilometers and return also 40 kilometers into 3 round trips into 25 days in a month. Into the number of buses are only one bus. So the total distance traveled is 72,000 kilometers. So now when you can easily calculate the petrol and oil cost, 72,000 kilometers, and it is given that it costs rupees 500 per 100 kilometers. So for every 100 kilometer, it costs rupees 500. So total 72,000 kilometers. For every 100 kilometer, the cost is 500. So this will be 3,60,000. Apart from this, we will add driver and driver commission and conductor commission. This need to be calculated. This is how we'll get the total variable cost or running cost. Further, the maintenance cost it is given that is annual repairs are 2,04,000. Let's calculate the total fixed cost also. So this is 15 lakh. 15,66,000. So now we are done with the calculation of total fixed cost and repairs and maintenance cost, but still we need to calculate the total variable cost. Now, anyways, now see, the cost what we have calculated is 15,66,000 is the fixed cost, 2,04,000 is the maintenance cost. Now see, it is given in the question that first and the foremost thing that 10% commission is to be paid to driver and conductor of the total revenue. And further, we have to charge 15% of the total revenue as profit. So we can say cost excluding commission. Cost excluding commission is how much? 15 lakh 66,000 is my fixed cost. 2 lakh 4,000 are my maintenance charges, and 3 lakh 60,000 is what my petrol cost. So 21 lakh 30,000. 21 lakh 30,000 is my cost excluding commission. In this, we have to add commission and profit to calculate the total revenue. I repeat again, the cost excluding commission is 21 lakh 30,000. In this, we have to add 10% commission, 15% profit to get the total revenue. Now, this 15% profit is of what? The revenue. This 15% profit is of what? Revenue. This 10% commission is what? Out of revenue. So let's assume that this revenue is 100. This profit is 15 of 100. This commission is 10 of 100. So how much will be the balance cost? See, out of, let's assume that the revenue is, my revenue is 100. So of this 100, 15% is the profit, 10% is the commission. So this cost will be what? 75% of the total revenue. I repeat again, let's assume my revenue is 100. Of this, 15 is my profit, 10 is my commission. So it means what? This balance cost will be what? 75% of the total revenue. So we can easily calculate the total revenue. That is 21 lakh 30,000 is my cost, which is equals to 75. And my revenue is 100. So how much will be the total revenue? This will be 28 lakh 40,000. Of this, 2 lakh 84,000 will be my commission. And 4 lakh 26,000 will be my profit. So this will be my total revenue. Further, we have to calculate the fare per passenger kilometer. So we will calculate the passenger kilometers also. So 40 kilometers one way with how much capacity? With 40 passengers. In return also 40 kilometers with how many passengers? 40 passengers. Into 3 trips in a day, 25 days in a month, and 12 months in a year. So this will be 28 lakh 80,000. So we can calculate the fare per passenger kilometer. That is 28 lakh 40,000 divided by 28 lakh 80,000. So this will be 0.986. Further, let's say if we want to calculate the one-way fare. Very important, guys. The fare per passenger per kilometer is how much? 0.986. So if a particular passenger is traveling for 40 kilometers, that is for one way. So one way ticket will be how much? 39.44. This is not asked. The question is not asking you to calculate the one-way fare. I'm just explaining it for your better understanding. So we have calculated the fare per passenger per kilometer. So it is 0.986. For every kilometer, we will charge 0.986 from a particular passenger. So if a passenger is traveling for 40 kilometers, so one-way fare will be 39.44. If you guys have any doubts or queries, you guys can. Very good, Sujay. Very good, Swati. And for the round trip fare, it will be 39.44 plus 39.44. So if you want to calculate the round trip fare, it will be 78.88. If you guys have any doubts or queries, you guys can please post. No, Sujay, not possible. I'm sorry. I request you guys to please copy the solution. So this will be 1,42,000. This will be 1,42,000. Thank you so much, Sujay. Very good, Divya. Sorry, Vidya. So, guys, let's take a break of 15 minutes. I'll be back after 15 minutes with 2, 3 more questions on transportation industry. So, let's take a break of 15 minutes, guys. Admin sir, ब्रेक डाल दीजिए. Welcome back, my friends. So let's start with one more question from my material, that is example number 4. So I request you guys to please pay attention. It's a very good question. So I'm starting with example number 4. So Global Transport Limited charges rupees 90 per ton for its 6-ton truck lorry load from city A to B. The charges for the return journey are 84 per ton. No concession or reduction in these rates is made for any delivery of goods at intermediate station C. So there are 3 cities, A, B, and C, and city C is the intermediate city. Now, in January 2020, the truck made 12 outward journey for city B with full load, out of which 2 tons were unloaded twice in the way at city C. So first is city A, second is city B, and there is an intermediate city C. So in January 2020, the truck made 12 outward journey for city B with full load, of which 2 tons were unloaded twice in the way at city C. So the capacity of the lorry is 6 tons, and the truck made 12 outward journey. So 12 into 6, 72 tons were loaded at city A and they went to city B, of which 2 tons were unloaded twice at city B. Let's read the question first. The truck carried a load of 8 tons in its return journey for the 5 times, but was once caught by police and 1200 was paid as fine. For the remaining trips, the truck carried full load, of which all goods on load were unloaded once at city C, but it returned without any load from city C to city A. The distance from A to city C and B are 140 and 300 kilometers respectively. Annual fixed cost and maintenance charges are 60,000 and 12,000 respectively, and the running charges spent during the January 2020 are 2944. You are required to find out the cost per absolute ton kilometer and profit for the January 2020. So let's start. So herein, the capacity is 6 tons and the journey, number of journey is 12. So total 42 tons, 12 6 are 72, 72 tons were loaded at city B, A, and they were transported to B. But there is an intermediate city C wherein 2 tons were unloaded twice. It means 4 tons were unloaded in aggregate at city C. So from C to B, only 68 tons traveled. If you guys have any doubts till now, you guys can please post. So there are 3 cities, A, C, and B. The truck made 12 outward journey with full load. It means 72 tons were loaded at city A. They went to city C and then they went to city B, wherein 2 tons were unloaded at city C twice. It means total 4 tons were unloaded. It means from city C to B, only 68 tons traveled. Further, in the return journey also, they are going to city C. And from city C, they are going to city A. Now, talking about these 12 return journey, it is given the truck carried a load of 8 ton in its return journey for 5 times. It means for the 5 times they carried a load of 8 tons. It means total 40 tons for 5 journey. And again from C to 8 also it is 40 tons. So now remaining return trips are how much left? 12 minus 5. So for the remaining 7 trips, what they are saying, for remaining 7 trips, they are saying that for the remaining trips, the truck carried full load, out of which all the goods on load were unloaded once at CTC. It means for the return 7 times, they carried the full load. So for the return 7 times, they carried the full load of 42 tons. Of these 42 tons, one time at once, they loaded the complete load at city C. It means full 6 tons were unloaded at city C. It means remaining 36 tons were only transported. So for the first 5 times and for the first 7 journeys, only 36 tons were transported from city C. So in return journey B to C, 82 tons are traveling, 76 tons are traveling. If you guys have any doubts till now, you guys can please post your queries first. Mr. Srinivasan, Swati, anyone having any doubts? Vidya, any doubts? Ashish Shukla, any doubts? Sujay, Srinivasan. This is not 36 kilometer, it is 36 tons. See, of these 42 tons, once they unloaded the full 6 tons, so out of these 42 tons, 6 tons are unloaded. It means the balance only 36 tons were transported to city from city C to A. Of these 42 tons, 6 tons were unloaded at city C. So only remaining, that is out of 42, 6 tons were unloaded once at city C, and the truck went empty from city C to A in that journey. So that's why this is how I got 36. Anyone else? Now, when talking about the distance A to city C is 140 kilometers. And A to B, it is 300. So it will be 160 kilometers. So B to C also, it will be 160 kilometers. And C to A, it will be 140 kilometers. So we have got the total tons and kilometers now. So we can calculate it directly: 140 into 72, 160 into 68, 160 into 82, 140 into 76. But writing it for your reference, from A to C, 140 kilometers, 72 tons transported. From C to B, So 44,720. If you guys have any doubts or queries in this part, you guys can please post. Since this is for a month, these 10 kilometers are for month of January. So that's why I'm taking the cost per month. So this will be 5,000. Be careful, guys. Don't take it per year. You have to take it per month because these 44,720 ton kilometers are for the month of January. So do read the question carefully before starting with the solution. Further, the variable cost and running cost is 2,944. And maintenance cost 12,000 for the year. So this is my statement of cost. They are also asking us to calculate the profit. Very important part, guys. This penalty or fine paid, that is 1,200 rupees, will never form part of statement of cost, being an abnormal cost. This penalty or fine is an abnormal cost and it will never form part of statement of cost. Statement of profit will prepare a statement of profit also. So they are not allowing any sort of concession if the goods were unloaded at CTC. So when talking about the calculation of revenue for A to B and directly from B to A, from A to B total, the fare is 90 rupees per ton for his load from city A to B. So 90 tons, 90 rupees per ton for full load. So total 72 tons were loaded. And from B to A, total 82 tons were loaded. And the return fare is 84 per ton. So in the onward journey, they are charging rupees 90, and for the return journey, they are charging 84. And they are not offering any sort of concession if the goods are unloaded at city C. So 90 into 72, 13,368 minus the cost as calculated, that is 8,944, and fine. Fine is 1,200. See, this is an abnormal loss. So it will never form part of statement of cost. So this will be 3,224. This is profit for the month of January 2020. If you guys have any doubts or queries, you guys can please post your queries. Waiting for your queries now. Further, they are asking us to calculate the absolute cost per absolute ton kilometer. So we can also calculate the cost per ton kilometer. It will be 8944 divided by 44,720. This will be 0.2 per. I request you guys to please copy the solution again. Herein also I have prepared this diagram. So whenever you find the questions of this type, try to prepare these charts. It will help you a lot while writing the solution, and it's a very easy approach and a quick approach to solve the questions. So giving you 3 to 4 minutes time to copy the solution. So please copy the solution. So now, example number 5, 6th, and 7th are homework for you. Example number 5th, 6th, and 7th are homework for you. And I'm discussing one question from study material. Yes, Miss Aradhana Avasti, you can solve the question in the same way in exams also. In fact, it's a very good way to present the solution. Even examiner will understand it in a very easy way that this is the way you have done the calculation. So I'm discussing one question from study material. Any doubt, Vidya? Any doubt, Aradhana? Swati, any doubts? Kiran Bala? Srinivasan, Shoaib? It's a very good question. Mallu, any doubt? Kavita, any doubt? Fine. So, example number 5th, 6th, and 7th are homework for you. I'm discussing one question from study material. That is illustration number 4. The illustration number 4 is similar to example number 7 in my material, but there is a small change in the question. So do solve this question, illustration number 7, example number 7 from my material. For your reference, I'm discussing one question from study material, that is illustration number 4. So let's start with illustration number 4. I request you guys to please pay attention. I repeat, example number 5, 6, and 7. Example number 5th, 6th, and 7th. I want answers in the next session. Make sure everyone should be ready with the answers. For your reference, for your help, for illustration number, example number 7, I'm discussing illustration number 4 from the material. So let's start with illustration number 4. SMC is a public school having 5 buses, each plying in different direction. Illustration number 4 of study material. SMC is a public school having 5 buses, each plying in different direction for transports of its school student. In view of large number of students availing of the bus service, the bus work 2 shifts daily, both in the morning and in the afternoon. The buses are garaged in the school. The workload of the students has been so arranged that in the morning, the first trip pick up senior students and second trip flying on the hour later pick up the junior students. Similarly, in the afternoon, the first trip takes the junior students and an hour later the second trip takes the senior students home. The distance traveled by each bus one way is 8 kilometers. The school works for 25 days in a month and remains closed for vacation in May, June, and December. So total 9 months only the bus will be operational. Bus fees, however, is payable by the students for full 12 months in a year. So now let's start with the further details that are given. 1 second, guys, 1 second. Now, the details of the expenses for a year are as under, wherein the driver's salary is given, that is 4,500 per month per driver. The cleaner salary is also given, that is salary payable for all 12 months. Cleaner salary payable for all the 12 months. Further, 1 cleaner employed for all the 5 buses. License fees and taxes are 8,600 per bus per annum. Insurance fees is 10,000 per bus per annum. Repairs and maintenance are 35,000 per bus per annum. Purchase price of the bus is 15 lakh each. Life of each bus is 12 years. Scrap value of the bus at the end of the life is 3 lakh. The diesel cost is 45 rupees per liter. Each bus gives an average mileage of 4 km per liter of diesel. Seating capacity of each bus is 50 students. The seating capacity is fully occupied during the whole year. Students picked up and dropped within a range up to 4 kilometers of distance from the school are charged half fare, and 50% of the students traveling in each trip are in this category. Ignore interest. Since the charges are to be based on average cost, you are required to Prepare a statement showing the expenses of operating a single bus and a fleet of 5 buses for a year. Work out the average cost per student per month in respect of students coming from distance up to 4 kilometers from the school and students coming from a distance beyond 4 kilometers from the school. So quite a lengthy question. So let's start with illustration number 4. So let's start with the solution. So driver salary is 4,500 and the cleaner salary is 3,500 and salary is payable for all the 12 months. So 4,500 per month per driver. So per bus it will be 54,000 and for 5 buses it will be 2,70,000. For cleaner, the salary is 3,500 per month. It is 42,000 and one cleaner is employed for all the 5 buses. So this will be 42,000. And if we want to calculate it per bus, it will be 8,400. License fees and taxes, etc., are 8,600 per bus per annum. Eight thousand, sorry, 600 per bus per annum. So this will be 43,000. Insurance is 10,000 per bus per annum. So for 5 buses, it will be 50,000. Further, the price of the bus is given and the scrap value is given and the life is also given. So we will calculate the depreciation. So 15 lakh is the cost, 3 lakh is the scrap value, and 12 years is the life. So 15 lakh minus 3 lakh is the scrap value divided by life of each bus is 12 years. So this will be 1 lakh for one bus. 5 lakh for 5 bus. Now here and they are talking about the diesel cost, that is rupees 45 per liter, and each bus gives an average mileage of rupees 4 kilometer per liter of diesel. So herein, okay, wait 1 second. The repairs and maintenance charges are given, that is 35,000 per bus and per annum. So this will go in maintenance cost. Repairs and maintenance charges are given, that is 35,000 per bus per annum. Now, when talking about the diesel cost, it's a variable cost and it is dependent upon the kilometers or distance traveled. So now we have to calculate the distance traveled or kilometers. So now let's start with calculation of kilometers now. Again, very simple. How it works is that since the buses are garaged in school, first they are going to pick up the morning students, that is the junior students, I think. 1 second. So first they pick up senior students, they go and pick up senior students and they come back. So this is for the morning senior. Then they again go and come back to pick up the junior. This is morning junior. Similarly, in afternoon, they drop first the junior students, afternoon junior, and they come back to school. Then again, they go to drop the senior students and they come back and the bus is garaged in school. So afternoon senior. So these are all the trips that are made in a month. I repeat again, the bus is garaged in school. First they pick up the senior students. So since the bus is garaged in school, so they go and pick up the senior students and the bus come back to school. Then they go up and pick up the junior students and the bus come back in school. Then in afternoon shift, they drop the junior students and the bus come back to school, and they drop the senior students and the bus come back to school. And for every trip, it is 8 kilometers. So 8 kilometers, 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 and 8 kilometers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So on an average, the bus is traveling for 64 kilometers in a day. So the total will be how much? 64 kilometers in a day. Into how many days in a month? 25 days in a month. Into 25 days in a month. And into, very important guys, 64 kilometers in a day into 25 days in a month into only 9 months in a year, because May, June, and December the school is closed. So out of 12 months, only 9 months the bus is working. So kilometer per bus will be how much? 64 kilometers into in a day, into 25 days in a month, into 9 months in a year. So a bus is traveling for 14,400 kilometers. And when talking about 5 buses, it will be 14,400 into 5. If you guys have any doubts in this part, you guys can please post your queries. Waiting for your queries, guys. Anyone? Swati, Om Krishna Gupta, Mallu Jadar, Srinivasan, Kiran Bala. Anyone having any doubts? Vidyashri, Aradhna, any doubts? Shoaib, Sunil, Ashish Shukla, any doubts, guys? So I repeat again, the bus is traveling for 64 kilometers in a day, into 25 days in a month, into 9 months in a year. So now we'll calculate the diesel cost. We'll prepare the working note. 1 bus and 5 buses. So per bus it is 14,400 kilometers, and the bus is running on an average per kilometer, per liter of diesel, how much? 4 kilometer per liter of diesel. So divided by 4. So this is how we'll get the total diesel into the rate of diesel is 45. Similarly for 5 buses also 72,000 divided by 4 into 45. So this will be 18,000. And this will be 90,000. Wait 1 second, there is a calculation mistake. Sorry, it is 1,62,000. So we are done with the cost calculation now. If you guys have any doubts till now, you guys can please post your queries. Waiting for your queries, guys. Good, Swati. Yes, it is 1,62,000. Thank you, Vidya. Cleaner salary is 8,400 per bus. One second. It is 3,500 per month. For 12 months, it is 42,000. And one cleaner is there for all the 5 buses. So total cleaner salary is 42,000 for all the 5 buses. So per bus, it will cost us 8,400. Anyone else? I hope, Aradhna, your query is resolved. So when talking about 8,400, it is 42,000 is the total divided by 5. So per bus, we have got 8,400. Now let's start with the next part. Now herein, we have to calculate the fare. So what the question is saying, that the students picked up and dropped within a range up to 4 kilometers, within a range of up to 4 kilometers of distance from the school are charged half fare, and 50% of the students traveling in each trip are in this category. Ignore interest. Since the charges are to be based on the average cost, you are required to prepare a statement that we have already prepared, and we have to work out the fare to be charged from students. See, let the fare charged up to 4 kilometer be X. Let the fare charge up to 4 kilometer be X, and beyond 4 kilometers be 2X. Let the fare charge up to 4 kilometer be X, up to 4 kilometer be X, and beyond 4 kilometers, since that bus is traveling for 8 kilometers, be 2X. Now, we'll be doing the monthly calculation only because the question is asking us to calculate the average cost per month per student. So cost per month per bus will be how much? See, we have got the total cost of a bus, that is 3,78,000 divided by 12 months in a year. So we have got the total cost also, that is 3,78,000 divided by 12. This will be 31,500. Now, this is the cost per month per bus. Now, see, when talking about a bus, how many students are traveling in a bus? Very simple, 50 junior students, 50 senior students. Very important, in a bus, how many students are traveling? 50 junior students, 50 senior students. See, they pick up the senior students, they drop the same senior students. They pick up the morning junior students and they drop the same junior students. Sorry, to back to school. So in short, in a bus, total students traveled is 50 senior plus 50 junior. Because see, for pickup there are 50 junior and 50 senior, and for the drop also the same 50 students junior and same 50 students senior. So in short, total in a bus 100 students are traveling. I request you guys to please copy this explanation because I'll be erasing this part, giving you a minute time. I request you guys to please copy this explanation. So in a bus, total 100 students are traveling. So we can say up to 4 kilometers, we can say of these 100 students, 50% are traveling up to 4 kilometers. And more than 4 kilometers, 50 students. Now, let's say so when talking about the fare, up to 4 kilometers, the fare is X. So for 50 students, the fare will be X. And for the remaining 50 students, the fare will be 2X. This is for up to 4. This is for more than 4 kilometers. So 50 into X plus 50 into 2X. And this should be equal to how much? 31,500. So very simple. 50 plus 100X, that is 150X should be equal to 31,500. So value of X will be 210. So up to 4 kilometer, it will be 210. More than 4 kilometer, it will be 420. Now, if you guys have any doubts in this part, you guys can please post your queries. The way I explained, it's a bit different from the study material, but the final answer is the same. I repeat again, guys, this calculation, let the fare charge up to 4 kilometer be X and beyond 4 kilometer be 2X. The cost per bus per month is 31,500. How come 31,500? 3,78,000 is the cost per bus. If we divide it by 12, we will get 31,500. That is for the month. Now, in a bus, how many students are traveling? 50 junior, 50 senior. So total 100 students are traveling. Of these 100 students, 50% students, that is 50 students are traveling up to 4 kilometers and 50 students are traveling beyond 4 kilometers. So for these 50 students, the fare will be X. And for these 50 students, the fare will be 2X. And this should be equal to 31,500. So this is how I got 210 and 420. See, they are saying that up to 4 kilometers, the fare will be half. And beyond 4 kilometers, the fare will be full. So half fare is X. So the full fare will be 2X. That is double of half. I hope, Srinivasan, your query is resolved. Anyone else with any doubts or queries, you guys can please post. I'm done with the explanation of this question. Most of the students find it difficult to solve this question. Yes, Swati, any doubts? Ashish, Kiran, Mallu, Om Krishnan Gupta, Shoaib, Srinivasan, Ganga, Sunil Ganga Dev, Swati. Any doubts? Aradhna, Vidya, any doubts? In the study material, it is solved in some different way, but again, the concept is the same. But I find it easy. That's why I am explaining all this in this way. If you guys have any doubts in this part, you guys can please post. It's up to you. I have just followed the easiest possible way. That's it. So, example number 5th, 6th, and 7th are homework for you guys. 5th, 6th, and 7th. I want the final answers from your end for these 3 questions. Vidya, any doubt? Kiran Bala, you can solve the question either of the way. I find it easy. That's why I've solved in this way. It's just a simple mathematics, Kiran, nothing more than that. There is no formula and all. It's just a simple mathematics. That's it. Nothing more than that. Shoaib, any doubts? Mr. Srinivasan, any doubts? Great. So done with the explanation of transportation industry. I request you guys to post the final answers for example number 5th, 6th, and 7th from my material. Thank you so much for your time and patience and for active participation in the session. See you guys in the coming session with few more questions on service costing. So till then, try to solve all the questions of transportation industry, of study material, past practice manual, MTPs, RTPs question. Trust me, you guys will be able to. Just stick to the concept, read the question carefully and start writing the solution. Still, if you find any sort of difficulty, you guys can ask your queries in the next session. So till then, practice and try to solve all the questions. Thank you so much, guys. See you. Admin sir. Admin sir. Admin sir, are you there? I'm done. Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm done. Thank you so much.